Hello, beautiful people. Spiegelman here. First, I want to say that there has been some changes because Diligence, the guild that I was part of, had been merged with the Bushido community. So I had some really good discussions and conversations with Polly, the leader of Bushido, and during this talks about the merge, I also told him that I'm not a content creator, but I make videos for the guild to help the guild out, and especially videos about PvP. And since we have now a community over, if I'm correct, 800 members, and I'm also part of the mentor group, I see a lot of questions about PvP. And the questions are, can you help me with my guild versus guild setup, or have a look at my setup, or do you have any advice? And of course, not only me, but all the other mentors, we are happy to help you out. But a lot of the questions can be partially answered by yourself. And of course, we can always have a quick look. But I think it's nice if you can do the work yourself, at least for the biggest part. So all these questions about guild versus guild teams and PvP setup make me look at my previous videos that I made for the Diligence community, and saw the TED Talk that I made a few months ago, and I was watching it again, and I'm thinking like, okay, that can be updated because of the new heroes, for example. And also it was a video of 1.5 hours, and I thought, okay, that might be a little bit too long. So today it's the first day to make a new video about PvP, and it actually will not become one video, but it will be multiple videos, all a bit shorter, and they will also, every video will be a small part of that PvP. And today what I want to do is I want to give you a brief general idea about what is PvP and what makes a hero a good PvP hero. And to ask the first question and to give a simple answer is basically, what is PvP? PvP is kill your enemy before they kill you. And to do that, you have certain tools. And tools for PvE content are different than PvP content. And the main difference is that with PvE, you know what the enemy is going to do, you know which attack a boss will do, and you can counter that by certain heroes. And for PvP, it's a bit different because you don't know what enemy team you face until you actually face it, and you cannot change the setup. So to make a good PvP team, and you need heroes, good PvP heroes that are versatile and that have one or more tools specifically aimed at the PvP uncertainty. Let's call it that way. So you need more versatile heroes. And if you have a hero and it has one or more of these specific PvP tools, it makes a hero a good PvP hero. And what are those tools? And like I said again, the different tools I will go more in depth in the next videos, which will come out the next few days. And now it's just a general overview of these tools. And the first tool, it's a CC. What you're going to do is you're going to stop one or more of the enemy heroes from doing what they want to do. And you can, for example, look at a great PvP hero, a CC hero, and it's Nicholas. And Nicholas, for example, has his coming surprise. And the coming surprise freezes enemy or give them a chance to freeze. Another good hero is, where is he? Brister. Brister is exclusive, also has a chance to stun. Stun is basically the same as freeze, and also his basic attack will give a chance to stun. Not a big chance, but it actually has some chance to stun. Then you have also heroes, and I will try to tell a little bit more, that have other kinds of CCs, and for example, it's a Sindo and it's silence. What happens if you silence an enemy? He cannot cast skills, only basic attacks. So that means that if you can silence, for example, a Paulin, Nicholas, you know that he cannot cast his coming surprise, and he only is be able to cast his basic attack, the Christmas tree. So, although Nicholas, silence Nicholas, is still be able to act, like when he is frozen, he is limited with the actions. And there are more of these. Again, I will explain that more in my in-depth video about crowd control. So, crowd control, important. You can hamper your enemy's teams. The second tool that you have is buffs and debuffs and their removal. Where we talked previously about the CCs, freezes and stuns, they are actually debuffs, and you need to protect yourself from that. And every other debuff that is cast on your team, you need to be able to remove them, especially if it's CC, because if your team is permafrozen, it's game over. And a good example for a hero that can remove debuffs is Paulin. Paulin cleanses all debuffs from all allies. Aside from removing debuffs from yourself, you can cast debuffs on your enemy, and not only freezes, but because it's the CC, but also other things that hamper their ability to do damage, for example attack down, but also the ability to take more damage. And Popper's ultimate is a good example for that. You can give defense down and tenacity down to on all enemy targets, making them not only take more damage because the defense is down, but also if there is a crit, less of the crit damage will be negated because there's also tenacity down. So you can deal more damage. Then you have buffs for yourself, and a good example is Nordek. Nordek's ultimate, for example, make you for 2 turns immune to all damage, and other shields, and also buffs that help you deal more damage. And again, Brister's S2 will give all allies 40% attack up, so 40% more attack damage, and will deal more damage to the enemy. The last thing is that you also want to remove buffs from the enemy. So for example, if there is an enemy Nordek and he casts his ultimate and makes the team completely immune to damage, you want to remove that buff. So for example, Henki's ultimate can do that. If you cast the ultimate, the first stage of the damage, it deals a little bit of damage, can even be quite a lot with the right exclusives, will remove all buffs from the target. So make sure that you have a hero that can remove debuffs from your team, especially if these are the CCs. Second, make sure that you have a hero that can remove nasty buffs on the enemy team, like Nordek's immunity. And third, make sure that you have heroes that can debuff your enemies so they take more damage, or buff your own team to deal more damage with the popper and the Brister. So that's the second tool. And the next tool that you have is turn meter manipulation. Because what you will see in a lot of teams is that they want to act in a certain cadence. So I will give you an example. Hanky. Hanky removes buffs with her ultimate. So what you want is first to remove the buffs and then the big nuke, for example, from Jingle Bell or Malkio, another great damage dealer. If you have a Nordic in your team and you make your heroes immune to damage, you don't want the Hanky first to remove that buff and then the Malkio to deal damage. So what you want is you want Hanky to act after Malkio. So Malkio uses his nuke and wasted it on the immunity of your heroes by Nordek, and afterwards, when the shield or the immunity from Nordek has done his work to prevent the killing blow from Malkio, it's not per se good, but the shield have done its work, the immunity shield, and if it's removed afterwards by Hank, okay, no problem. So a good hero for that is, where is she? Lydia. Her basic attack targets one enemy and steals turn meter. If you target Hanky in this way, removing her turn meter, you can make her act afterwards and mess up the cadence, the synergy of the enemy team. So that's about turn meter manipulation. And the last thing I want to say is defense, because where you have a team that tries to cleave kill your team, you can defend your heroes. And the best defense is, in this case, not the defense where you actually have to cast something. So, for example, the immunity is great, but you actually have to cast it by Nordex. So Nordex had to have a turn and also be able to cast this specific spell. But other heroes have them passively. And for example, Sun, where do I have the Sun? With exclusive 2, we already looked at it. It casts this Fire body, which gives a big shield on all your allies. You don't have to do anything about it. It's just there at the start of the battle with exclusive 2. Giving you extra oomph to protect you against enemy cleaves, enemy damage. So, what makes a good hero a good hero? PvP hero, if it has one or more of these tools. So, if it can CC in some sort of way, it's a plus. If it has some way of putting buffs, debuffs, or remove those nasty freezes and other buffs, it has a plus. If it has some kind of turn manipulation, and that can be that it gets turn meter itself, so it acts faster, or it can steal or drain turn meter of the enemy. It's a plus. If it has some kind of defensive capabilities, and with defensive capabilities again I mean things that are triggered when something happens, it's a plus. And then of course, which I didn't talk about in this list of tools, if it can deal damage, because at one point you need to deal damage to your enemy to kill it actually. So that's another plus. And the more pluses a hero has, the better of a PvP hero he is. So I hope that you already have a little understanding about, hey, this is a hero that can do this, this and this. 3 pluses. Actually, that might be a good hero. So look at your roster, look at your heroes and see if you can find out what are the heroes that most likely will be put in my Guild versus Guild teams. So that's it for today. In the next few days I will do a little bit more in-depth of those tools, and the last video will go about the synergy of heroes. So some heroes are good with other heroes, they work well together, or they are really good at one, and so they have really good one tool but they lack the rest, and with another hero they can compensate for that. So good setups for Guild versus Guild if you look at setup synergy and complementing heroes. But for now, because I already think that I talk way too long and it starts to be a bit boring, I will thank you for your patience and your interest. If you watched the video so far, at least it's interesting enough for you to waste your precious minutes of your life. If you watch it so far, you can help me out by liking and subscribing to my channel and liking this video. And I hope that I will see you in the next few videos the next few days. If you have any comments or want to see some subjects spoken by, you can add a comment in this YouTube video, but you can also send me a message in the Discord channel of Bushido. Thank you all for watching. Take care, enjoy the game, and see you around. See you tomorrow. Bye.